Kelly. How are you?
How's the gang? Good holiday? Good for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Join the board in the pledge. Hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing and join the board in a moment of silence as we honor our veterans, our first responders, our active military. And this week, we ask that you keep in your thoughts and prayers the family of Dolores Jose, Mineola icon that passed away this past week. Thank you. Before we start our hearings, we have two hearings this evening. I would just like to read a brief statement because I think it warrants it. As I just mentioned, Dolores Jose was an icon in Mineola, most notably for her passion for soccer and her family. Dolores Jose passed away peacefully surrounded by her family last week on January 5th. She was raised in Mineola, attended Mineola High School, graduating from Mineola High School in 1968, as did both of her children, Anne Marie and David. If you ever met Dolores, you would never forget her. She was a people person with unwavering energy. Dolores certainly had an affinity for conversation if you ran into her at the soccer field or one of the many diners that she worked at. Dolores played on an all-women's soccer team beginning in the late 1970s, and she was also dedicated many hours to the Long Island Ladies Soccer League. As coordinator, board member, over 45 years she was involved. For that, they bestowed the honor of inducting her into the Long Island Ladies Soccer Hall of Fame. Her love of soccer and her children led Dolores to join the Mineola Athletic Association, the MAA, as soccer coach for her daughter's intramural team in the early 1980s. She would continue on to coach her son and many of the other children in Mineola long after they moved out of the program, as she remained an active member of the MAA for over 40 years and the Long Island Junior Soccer League. She was inducted into the Long Island Junior Soccer League Hall of Fame in 2013. I had the pleasure of knowing Dolores for nearly 3 decades. I coached her son, David, who was captain of my 1999 Mineola High School team and an outstanding player and an outstanding person. The last team that I had the privilege of coaching in the MAA as a volunteer coach was in the spring of 2016 for my then 7-year-old daughter. My assistant coach was Dolores Jose. I will always remember fondly that experience. We are better off as a community for having had the likes of Dolores Jose among us. Dolores is survived by her husband, her children, her grandchildren, her son-in-law, her daughter-in-law, and so many friends and neighbors and soccer community aficionados. She will be dearly missed. When we inaugurate our field that we're working on currently at Field 1 in Wilson Park, we will then have a memorial service that will be open to the community, and we invite all members, past and present, of the MAA and of the Mineola community to join us then, and we'll have more information on that when that happens. So our condolences go out to the Jose family, to the MAA family. She certainly will be missed, and we're fortunate to have had her in our community for this time. So God rest her soul.
Can I add something?
Sure, absolutely.
So I've known Dolores since mid-1980s. We were both involved in the MAA. I first met Dolores not at a block party, not at a backyard barbecue, but at the electric fields. She was a great person. I was baseball, she was soccer. I would eventually leave the MAA, but Dolores would stay on. And Mayor, you said it great. I'm looking forward to that dedication ceremony. She was an absolutely great person.
And that was evident by a packed church on Tuesday here at Corpus Christi, from not just Mineola, from all over Nassau County, from all over Long Island. She was known and she was involved. Most of us are involved in these local sporting associations, as long as our children are involved. And when they age out, we move on, and that's how it happens. But there are very few people, and Dolores is not the only one, but she certainly was one of those that kind of sets the bar pretty high. I mean, her children are in their 40s, and she was still involved up until December. And doing jobs often that others did not want to do, like if you understand soccer and club soccer and travel soccer, you have to deal with passes and registration and all of this paperwork, and she did it. And so, again, our thoughts and prayers are with her and her family.
And Mayor, again, she was an absolutely great person. If you knew her, you would know what we're talking about. She was an absolutely great person.
Absolutely. On a brighter note, I'm proud to recognize 2 Mineola High School students that were recognized today as semifinalists of the Regeneron Science Competition, formerly known as the Westinghouse Science Competition, which dates back to 1942. It's the most prestigious science competition in the United States. Today, Regeneron announced 300 semifinalists that were selected from over 2,160 applications from 712 high schools across 46 states and 10 foreign countries. To put it in perspective, I've been teaching at Mineola High School for 31 years, and previously, before today, we had a total of 3 in 31 years, Regeneron or Westinghouse Science Competition semifinalists. The 2 semifinalists, so we not only did we get 1, we got 2, are both Mineola High School seniors, and the project title for one of them is a proposed method for measurement of oil spill bioremediation enhancement. And the other one is the use of perfluorocotyl bromide as an oxygen diffuser to treat chronic lung diseases.
Oh my God.
And so and now on January 24th, they will announce the finalists. So we'll go from 300 to 40, and then we'll go from 40 to 3. The 300 today got $2,000 scholarship for each one of them, and $2,000 for the school. If they make it to the final 40, I believe they get $15,000 each, and then if they make it to the top 3, they get something like $150,000. And it is my pleasure to recognize Samantha Ashley Stewart, a senior at Mineola High School, and Luigi Sartori, Deputy Mayor's son. So
Thank you.
Congratulations to Luigi and to Samantha. And oddly enough, to add another twist, they are both twins. So that's pretty impressive that we have 2. So I know that the deputy mayor is beaming with pride. I ruined the surprise. I texted her first. But anyway, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
To Luigi,
Proud
to Anthony,
mama.
to Tina.
Oh, good job, Mom. Good job.
Congratulations to both Samantha and Luigi. I can't speak for Samantha, but I know for Luigi, it was a labor of love, and it was well-deserved. So congratulations, both of you.
Good job. Mom.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Okay.
Oh my God.
All right, with that,
Wow, that's
we
great.
will go into our public hearing, and I'll ask for Mr. Rivera to call out the first item.
Good job. My God.
Application of Rena Gallicani for a special use permit pursuant to Chapter 550 of the Code of the Incorporated Village of Mineola entitled Zoning, Section 550-12, entitled B1 District, subsection B, entitled Special Uses, to establish an acupuncture clinic upon the property known as 190 East Jericho Turnpike, Mineola, New York, known and designated on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map as Section 9, Block 371, Lot 18.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our hearing tonight will work as follows. We'll ask the applicant to approach the podium, identify yourself, your relationship to the applicant, and just tell us a little bit about your application, at which point you'll interact with the board. We'll ask some questions, then you'll sit down. We'll ask any members of the public to comment, and then if they have any questions, you would answer those questions. So anyone here for the applicant? Come on up, please. Give your name and your address and your relationship to the applicant.
And Mayor, before we get started,
Oh, and I forget this all the time.
it's okay.
I'm
Before we
sorry.
get started,
I'm
I
sorry.
spoke to Liam O'Keefe, the superintendent of buildings, and the mailings have been completed. Nassau County has recommended local determination, and I'd ask for a type 2 designation under CEQA.
Just for the record, Deputy Mayor, what does that say on my sheet there?
Affidavit of mailings, Gibbons, Nassau County.
I wrote it down, and I still forgot. A little inside joke between us, nothing to worry about. So affidavit of mailings is complete, Mr. O'Keefe? Okay, I wouldn't want to take your job away from you. Mr. Gibbons, Nassau County, no problem, right?
Right,
Right.
and a type 2 resolution.
So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'm sorry.
No.
Now you go.
Hi, my name is Rana Galichkani. I am the acupuncturist
Could you stand or wait? You don't have to speak. There
that
you go. Yeah,
owns
perfect.
New Youth Skin Body Mind, and we're relocating to 190 East Jericho Turnpike. So we'll be offering acupuncture, infrared saunas, foot baths, hydrogenated water.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your hours of operation, number of employees, the parking situation?
So there's parking directly on the premises, and then there's about 3 to 5 people working with me, about 3 of them on site and the rest remotely. And then hours of operations, we'll move seasonally, but for the meantime, it'll be 10 to 7, Monday through Sunday.
You'll be open on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Is there any garbage that is produced as a result of this, or any
Nothing-
kind of biohazard material? No, it's not. There's
Just
nothing.
the needles,
The
but we have
needles.
we have the disposable bins for those needles, and
So
then
that
we
gets-
call
That gets disposed through some kind of company
company.
that comes
Correct.
in?
They'll come and pick the needles up.
Okay. How many clients do you expect to be able to have at any one time in the business?
In the beginning, I want 20 to 30 per week, and then from there builds upwards.
But 20 to 30 per week, but how many would be physically in at any time? Is it just one at a time, or like you could do
It
two?
depends, I guess, on the services. So the acupuncture treatments, that'll have to be gauged, but as far as, we'll have multiple rooms for the infrared saunas, and then multiple rooms just available if they want to do foot baths. So that could be kind of multiple people there simultaneously. I want to say maybe like we can have 10 services running simultaneously. So there's room in the schedule to play around with that.
Okay. And for those of you who don't know, this is the building on the corner of Jericho Turnpike and Sheridan Boulevard on the northwest corner, where there is a bank, and then above it there are offices. Is that correct?
Correct. Right above
Okay.
the bank will be working.
There's a salon there.
Yes,
right?
salon and medical
and there was
office.
a medical office, and then there was a lawyer's office. So the only thing, what kind of interior changes and modifications are you going to be doing, or are doing?
The fundamentals, they're there. We're just going to input some treatment rooms
Okay.
and organize the where we're going to hold each of the services.
And the only thing that I would ask you, of course, is to work closely with the building department. I assume that you're gonna put a sign outside, right?
Yes.
That's probably gonna match and be in character with the signs that are currently there.
Mm-hmm.
But again, just to be sure that it conforms to our code, check with Mr. O'Keefe with that as
Absolutely.
well. So just signage, any plumbing or electrical or any interior modifications that you're doing, I know you wanna get up and running and open, so we want, and the best way to do that is to, you know,
Do it the right way,
right way. Do
Yes.
it once and do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Deputy Mayor,
I have no questions, thank you.
no questions? Mr. Casado?
No concern.
Okay. Mr. Clark?
No, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Salaski?
No questions.
Awesome.
Okay, very good. You have anything for us?
No.
I don't think that there are any members of the public wishing to speak? No? Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I will entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Salaski. Mr. Rivera, please poll the board.
Yes.
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 Yes. Congratulations. Good luck.
Congratulations.
And you can go. And just make sure you stay in touch with Mr. O'Keefe, okay? Thank you very much. Good luck to you. Okay, Mr. Rivera.
Application of Michael Stambolis for a special use permit pursuant to Chapter 550 of the Code of the Incorporated Village of Mineola entitled Zoning, Section 550-15.2, entitled Jericho Turnpike Overlay District to convert existing ground floor retail space into 2 residential apartment units upon the property known as 145 Jericho Turnpike, Mineola, New York, known and designated on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map as Section 9, Block 405, Lot 102.
Mr. O'Keefe, affidavit of mailings. Vincent? Not just one second. Mr. Gibbons?
Yes, Nassau County's recommended local determination, and I'd ask for a type 2 designation under CEQA.
Okay, entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Casado, second by deputy mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Since we just went over the rules just a few minutes ago, I'll invite the representative for the applicant to please come up and make your presentation.
I'm Michael Lisi, the owner of the property. Lisi. And we want to turn the store into 2 apartments on the ground level.
Okay, can you, so you're doing this under the Jericho Turnpike Overlay District?
Yes.
Correct. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you're aware of some of the parameters of that overlay district. So about a year and a half ago, this board passed or passed an overlay district called the Jericho Turnpike Overlay District, where we relaxed certain requirements, and one of them is that you're not allowed to have residential on the first floor on this strip. This essentially allows you to do that. That's what you're looking to do by coming in here. However, in return for that, as we have in our other overlay districts, there are certain amenities that come with the relaxation of that zoning, okay? So the underlying zoning remains the same. The overlay district doesn't replace the underlying zoning. It just complements it, and it gives us the ability, along with landlords and developers, to see if a project fits. So this is a storefront that is on the south side of Jericho Turnpike, just west of Willis Avenue, correct? If you
Correct.
store
3 stores.
3 stores in, right? Currently, you have how many units on the second floor?
2.
2 units on the second floor, and you want to add 2 units on the first floor.
Correct.
Okay, which is in line with what we envisioned when we first passed this overlay district, because rather than having revolving storefronts or empty storefronts, you know, there's a need for housing, and there's a need for housing that's more affordable than some of the housing that has been built in Mineola over the last 10 years, and it gives landlords some flexibility as they have an investment that they pay taxes on and that they have to upkeep, and if they keep losing tenants, commercial tenants, that's obviously not good for you, it's not good for us, it's not good for anyone. However, there are questions that require that there be some amenities. So I don't know if you're aware of it. Have you read the overlay district, the code?
With the architect.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that you're aware. Our overlay district requires that you have 1.5 spots per unit. That would be 6 spots since you have 2 units. Obviously, you have no parking there.
Yeah.
There's no parking there now, and there's going to be no parking there regardless of what
Correct.
we do. To compensate for that, what we have in our code, in that overlay district rather, is that you would pay a one-time $2,000 fee towards a parking trust per unit. So that would be $6,000, one-time fee. And then we also have, not just for you, for anyone.
Correct.
2
Okay.
doors down from you, someone had a development approved where essentially the same thing was done and the same thing will be done. That's in the code. And beyond that, for each unit, it would be $10,000 in amenities. And so therefore it would be $20,000 plus the 6, $26,000.
Okay.
The third thing that I want to bring to your attention is that one of the other requirements of this is that the front of the building remain and retain a storefront look and appeal. So whether it's a lobby or a foyer or some kind of entranceway, that it not look like on the first floor, on the front, that it be an apartment, that it keeps some semblance of its neighboring storefronts, that there will be this continuity of commercial, although it's residential, that it will appear. So whether you put an awning above the window and name the building or something like that, and put some lighting so that it doesn't look like it's a strange residential building in the middle of commercial retail spaces.
Yep.
Okay, so you're aware of all that?
Yeah, that part I am aware of, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent.
Yeah.
So as long as you're aware of that, we're able to proceed. So tell us a little bit, or maybe the architect can come up and tell us a little bit about the units, the sizes, what kinds of units they are, how they're going to be oriented, and, you know, I mean, we have the plans in front of us, but obviously this is being televised, and this is a matter of public record, so we want to make sure that we get as much information on the record as possible. So please, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Yes, my name is Michael Stambolis.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about the project, if you don't mind.
So, yeah, sure. So, to what you were stating about the front of the building, we are proposing keeping the storefront glass and frame look, and the finishes of the exterior will blend in with the adjacent stores. When you enter the ground floor, there will be 2 units. There's a fire-rated corridor that runs from the front to the back, which leads to each unit. These are, and each unit is 2-bedroom. And the square footage is, let's see if I have that. Yeah, so the square footage of each unit is approximately 700 square feet.
Okay, which is essentially in compliance with what we have required. What is there currently now, or what was the last business to be in there?
I think he did, the previous owner, it's been empty for a while.
Yeah.
It's been empty for a while. I think he did upholstery for like restaurants, like seating and stuff like that. That was my understanding.
Okay. So it's been vacant for quite a bit,
Yeah.
and you've had no luck in finding
No,
tenants?
yeah, nothing that I want to, you know, hookah stores and convenience stores, and nothing that, you know, that would fit my, you know, what I want to be.
Or hours? So
With
Yeah, I
alcohol,
think
with
you're right.
alcohol and, no, I don't,
Yeah.
you know.
That-
Even a
that's-
restaurant I wouldn't be comfortable with, really, that, you know, with people above it and stuff.
And I think that is, if I may editorialize here, is people may listen to this and say, well, you're putting in 2 more units, a family's gonna move in, a small family's gonna move in, they're gonna have a car or 2, you know, where are they gonna park? Well, currently, that business could have dozens and dozens of customers coming to it all day, every day, and they would be clogging our streets and parking. This is going to be 2 families, if they have 2 cars, who are going to leave in the morning, go to work, and then come back at night. And one of the reasons why we feel that this works here is because we literally have hundreds of spots within a 1/10 of a mile of municipal parking, behind, on Willis Avenue, behind Willis Hobbies, behind Noches de Colombia, right here between, in front of Village Hall, and between the firehouse and Mineola Boulevard. So we do have a lot of options for your future tenants to be able to park. Of course, they would have to feed the meter during the hours that they would have to feed the meter, or they would have to get permits, but there is the availability of parking, and a residential use actually is probably less, not probably, I mean, I'm not a traffic engineer, but it's less invasive in terms of the number of trips, the number of cars, and the need for parking that this will require. So I think that in terms of parking, this is a net win for this commercial corridor. Your neighbors will probably be happy because you'll actually be there'll be less demand for parking in front of your a business or rather your property than there would have been with a storefront, certainly a hookah store or a convenience store or a restaurant or anything else like that. So this will be less demanding than that. Now obviously the building is flanked on either side by other buildings. How does the lighting work?
Yeah, so, yeah, there's not
It's
much-
complicated.
There's not much opportunity for windows or natural light here. So we are providing for the rear unit, 2 skylights, one in the living and kitchen area and one in one of the bedrooms. And then we're providing the adequate amount of artificial light via, high hats. And in the front unit has the window, and again, the, artificial lighting.
Okay, and the second floor, would you do any changes or any improvements to that, or that is going to remain
We
as
just
it?
did new plumbing, new electric, so it just got upgraded. Oh, sorry. We just did new plumbing, new electric, so it got upgraded.
Does this require any changes to water or sewer access? Because the use may require more water or more sewer. Does it require any kind of change in the connections or alteration when it comes to that?
No, I think the intent is to tie into the existing stack that's there,
Okay,
so it shouldn't alter that.
so it shouldn't be a problem.
Shouldn't be.
Any plans to change the exterior of the facade of the building to make improvements?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I want to blend it, I want to make it look nice. It'll have a good look to it.
Good.
And it'll look like it's supposed to look.
Yeah, what we would ask you to do is to make it blend with the historic kind of nature of Jericho Turnpike. So if you notice a lot of brick and, different colors, right across the street, there's a building that they did a couple of years ago. I think it's that wellness place. They did a really nice job with that. So something along those lines. Doesn't have to be that color scheme. Take something from the new firehouse, perhaps look at the application of those 2 projects that we approved just west of you. And again, it doesn't have to be the same, but it should be complementary. We don't want a modern building with, a glass look, kind of a postmodern look. We'd rather have a look that fits with this area. And I'm glad to hear that you're looking to make some improvements to that facade, because that's going to look great.
Yep.
Okay, Deputy Mayor?
I don't have any questions. I think it's a great idea. I think it would be wonderful not to have that vacant space there. I agree with everything the mayor just said regarding the front of it looking similar. I don't see any issues with parking or the amount of people it's going to draw, so I think it's a great idea. Thank you.
Okay, Trustee Casada?
Thank you, Mayor. I have no concern with this request, but I did find your drawings very confusing. But on Monday morning, I sat down with Mr. O'Keefe. I actually took your drawing and I did a little cut and paste to create
You put them
a
together.
better-looking drawing. And right, Mr. O'Keefe, you answered all my questions. So thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to answer my questions. So I'm a yes. So here's my cut-up drawing.
Put the 2 halves together.
Yes. Trustee Clark?
What's your timeframe? When are you gonna start construction? When do you plan to be finished?
As soon as we can,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
all right.
ready to roll.
The other issue that I would bring up, again, traditionally, with something like this, if it were a bigger project, we would require that you do private carding. Obviously, this is a unique situation. You're only adding 2 more units, but we do ask that going forward, that you would have it in containers, that it looks nice, and perhaps we'll start a trend on Jericho Turnpike and have people actually follow the code and not just put garbage out and have it blowing all over the place. So, I think you're gonna spend some money here, and you're gonna make something nice, and I think that along with that is the look doesn't start when you walk into your place, it starts when I drive by your place, so.
Something to store the pails?
Yeah,
like-
probably have, you should have containers so that you wheel them out. Your tenants should not be putting out individual garbage bags, stacking them like, Legos or something like that. So even in the storefront, if you can make some kind of faux kind of storage area or in the back of the building and just bring the garbage out on the days that, that it's picked up. Mr. Rini, garbage on Jericho is picked up 5 days a week,
Yeah.
5 days a week. So that makes it pretty easy. You
The
shouldn't have a
back,
whole.
the back is tough. The back,
Okay.
I can't.
Yeah, I don't know the building,
The
but,
front, I can put some kind of against the building or towards the curb?
no, not towards the curb, but if you have pickup 5 days a week, there shouldn't be a whole lot of garbage.
Right, there
that's-
isn't, no.
So
Okay.
we would just try to keep it, you know, neat.
I'll take the recommendation,
Okay,
whatever you
we'll,
tell
we'll
me to
talk
do.
to Mr. Reedy and we'll see if there's something that we can figure out that works, for you. Again, I don't want to make it any more onerous on you than anybody else on the block, but traditionally with projects that come before us, so for example, the other 2 projects that we approved, both are required to have private carding. But this is only 2 units, it's mid-block, it's on Jericho, it's not gonna create, you know, currently we're picking up the garbage already from your tenants upstairs,
Right.
and we were picking up the garbage from your commercial tenants, so
Right.
it's not like we're adding anything necessarily. But if we have an opportunity to perhaps, you know, re-educate, not just you, but your neighbors as well, and if they start seeing you're doing it one way, perhaps it will catch on. Okay, so that's all, but that's not anything that we need to decide here tonight.
Okay.
Mr. Clark, anything else?
No, that's it, thank
That's
you.
it. Trustee Solosky?
I really have no questions, but I am looking forward to seeing what you do, because I think that area needs a little refresh. So I'm looking forward to you combining and blending what's happening on Jericho into your building to really spruce up that area.
Thank you, Trustee Solosky. If I may ask you, what led you to decide to, so you're the owner of the building?
Yes,
How long have you owned the building?
so it's a little over a year and a half.
And what made you decide to do this rather than go the retail route?
You know what, it was never my intention, but I found out about, and I thought it was brilliant. I've actually had this idea 10 years ago, because I live in Franklin Square, and we got the same problem. They need to do this in Franklin Square too. I mean, you're gonna see more and more of it. As Amazon gets bigger and everything else gets bigger, you're gonna see empty stores. And, you know, if there's, you know, people need to pay, you gotta be able to pay taxes and everything
And
else.
it's not gonna work everywhere
No,
on
no,
Jericho
but,
Turnpike, but where it works, and we're talking about small numbers, and so although you're not the first applicant in this overlay district, you really are the first one in this template, which is, you know, a small, the other 2 that are a little further west, they are bigger lots. One of them goes from Jericho to Washington, so
Right.
it's much bigger. There's more flexibility, there can be windows, you know, you don't have to be as creative. You don't have to get as good of an architect
Right.
as you did, but you're welcome. But this is gonna be interesting to see how this works, and not that we want to line Jericho Turnpike with, you know, 2
I got it,
apartments on the floor either, but you're here, it works for you, it works for us, so, there being no one from the public here, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Clark. Mr. Rivera, please poll the board.
Trustee Clark,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sartori,
Yes.
Trustee Fasano,
Yes.
Trustee Solosky,
Yes.
Mayor Pereira.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
To you, good luck, and as I said previously, and perhaps you more so than the previous applicant, absolutely stay in contact with Mr. Reedy, Mr. O'Keefe, and our village attorney. When it comes to the amenities, we'll reach out to you and we'll talk about that and how that gets figured out. But all your permits, plumbing, electrical, any questions, you're literally right across the street. So please, we would love to see this moving. You're eager to get it moving, but we want to make sure that you follow the procedures. So we'll be in touch.
And May, what's the time frame for all this to happen?
you know, you approved us, so we'll get the ball rolling tomorrow, and we'll, you know, to get it actually working, as soon as we can,
Okay.
Okay.
you
Yeah,
know,
and again, when
as
you're
soon as
doing,
allowed.
and when you're doing construction, you know, you're doing construction on Jericho Turnpike, so be cognizant of that. If there are any concerns or any issues or any doubts, reach out to Mr. O'Keefe to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to be doing it, because I would hate to have some inspector from the state roll by and see something that can put, you know, a wrench in the works, because when we're dealing with the state, it becomes a whole different animal. So if we cross our Ts and dot our Is, we should be okay. So again, just make sure you communicate with the village, okay?
Understood.
Good luck to you, sir, and thank you
very
for
much.
choosing Mineola and for staying here.
Thank
Good luck
you
to
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Thanks
Have a
for
good
Have a great
coming,
night.
Nola.
Congratulations on your son, too.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Solosky, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Casado, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Okay. We have a work session, but we'll take a few-minute break to let our court reporter break down. Take care, gentlemen, have a good night. We'll be out in a few minutes for our work session.